Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, economists and civil society organizations have warned of acute implications if the national budget does not address the prevailing economic situation. Failure to allocate adequate funding for agriculture extension services has been highlighted, for instance, as not only a clear example of growth without transformation, but a possibility to create a redundant workforce and an inhibitor of PDM implementation, a key consideration in the agricultural value chain.
Improves that efficiency by providing knowledge to farmers on how to apply the inputs. He may be provided a fertilizer, but he doesn't know how it should be applied. And if he applies this wrongly, it will not produce the yield that is expected. So so extension service is really a knowledge base, and it provides the farmer the information, knowledge, and technology requirements for him to effectively produce increased production. Now, when it is not, that knowledge is not provided, however much inputs you may give the farmer, you will not increase the efficiency.
For agriculture as a sector. And yet when you look at the commitment of government and the funding, the prioritization of our country, it is not going to extension service delivery. There is little that is given to the extension service delivery. And that is why we find a lot of problem. Our produce is being rejected from our neighbors, from the international market. Our produce is rejected because the extension workers who are supposed to advise the farmers on what to do, how to prevent disease, how to do proper agriculture, how to clean their crops, how to handle post-harvest handling is not there. So you find that the farmers are just to whom it may concern. They do farming like their great forefathers.
There is a staggering gap of 4,910 extension workers. Low ratio of agricultural extension workers to farmers at 1 to 1,800 against the recommended 1 to 500. With a 52.7 trillion shillings budget intended to promote transition from subsistence to commercial production, incapacitated extension workers have had senior economists condemning the country's productivity as agriculture is highly benchmarked.
The case of extension workers is well reflected in the parish development model under Pillar 7, which is really talking about public administration. You're talking about the personnel required, right from the parish chief, the sub-county chief, the COW and their teams, but also these technical people, the extension service providers. Now, unfortunately, there has been a lot of focus on Pillar 3 to give people the money. But we all know that money is not what solves the problems. Money facilitates a solution. Now, the solution is you getting the right planting materials, you getting the right advice, you getting the right communication to the market, which is basically Pillar 2, community economic infrastructure, the roads, the water, and then also making sure when I do make my harvest, the income from agriculture is not going to be cannibalized by social services. Because if I have a cow and I fall sick, or a member of my family falls sick, I'm going to sell that cow to treat a child. Meaning government's Pillar 4, which is social services, education and health, must function if you are to secure the investments in agriculture. Otherwise, you'll be harvesting from agriculture and the weaknesses in health and education will draw away those resources from agriculture.
The Assistant Commissioner in charge of Agriculture Extension Services still banks on the government's decision to review the matter, even though the move to cut down the budget seemed deliberate.
Government has always ways of putting, even if you, in the process, you realize that an error was done, there are always mechanisms to make the corrective measures. So we expect that definitely we have put our issue on the table and indicated the implications of not having that budget. So I'm very certain that those people in charge of the budget process will find ways of leveraging to ensure that these people are provided some resources.
The report on the National Budget Framework paper for the financial year 2023-2024 to 2027-2028 that was presented to the House on January 25th earlier this year for consideration and approval had the committee observe the Agriculture Ministry requires 5.5 billion shillings for rollout of the extension systems for the real-time information sharing and monitoring services delivery to 60 districts across Uganda. Surprisingly, only 500 million shillings is available in the medium-term expenditure framework. Rona Nahabwe, Smart24 TV, Business Today.